I want my cookies. I don't want my cookies right now.
I don't want to have cookies.
Okay, I'm ready now.
She
Okay,
has
good.
concerned food.
She's concerned food. I told her. Well, I concerned her about, like, cursed item possibilities, but...
Fair.
I told her...
Listen,
I gave her a very ominous thing to worry about.
Oh, no, that's fair.
listen, I have technically 2 characters in this game right now. It's fine.
Oh, all I said, Aspire, was you don't have to worry about it for this mission, at least.
Ah, yeah.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everybody. Before we get into, like, the little bit of recap that happened, what all happened last time? Was it just more conversations and stuff? And planning?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a lot of talking and planning because we went and talked to Aaron, and Rin did her shenanigans.
Yeah, which the only people who know about that right now are Harx, Ace, and Amos. And, well, Angel, because kind of walked in on it. And she realized she offered him a place to stay and then didn't think that through.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Well, Rin was living by herself for so long, she doesn't necessarily have a big place.
And she didn't tell either of them to not say anything.
Nope.
I'm sure that'll go well.
You're fine.
Harx might
Now,
not. We'll see.
Let's just sprinkle a little dust around it near this landmine we placed. It'll be great.
Yeah, so Angel went and had a conversation with Reyan and Harx, which kind of, I think, boosted Rand's confidence a little bit.
Considering how much that boy got done.
He ran around and did some shit. He had a conversation with Ace, Aaron, and his father. Let's see, with Ace, it was advice on their opinion on Aaron. Both his and Amos's.
And how to approach the situation with Kendall.
Yes. I think the only real extra insight he gave you was... What was it? There was something he said that Aaron didn't say.
He gave a lot of really good advice.
Oh, a lot of his advice involved, figure out what kind of attack you want to do, mainly. Do you want to do a stealth approach? Do you want to do, like, distracting a section while you sneak in? Or just go all full-on front attack? Like, that's something that you need to consider when picking people. So that was his main advice.
Yeah.
And then he did express a concern about, like, taking Jack, obviously. Of the two that would probably follow, more than anything. And he's just worried about Jack's, like, well-being in that kind of scenario.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. To a point, because Jack does have a... Unfortunately, Kendall does know his weaknesses. It is a valid concern, but he's not going to stop him if that's what Jack wants to do.
Yep.
Then he spoke with Aaron. You learned some interesting information.
Yeah. It's fine.
Because we didn't RP it, I am going to share some of it. He learned interesting information about the dragon, because he had a more personal relationship with him. That was his teacher, after all.
Yep.
And...
It's fine.
A little bit of conversation happened, where he partially kind of wants to go see if the dragon just lets him live, or if he'll actually listen to him. But he's blind, so there's a little bit of a travel issue for him.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Uh-huh. It's totally fine.
You also learned the dragon's name.
Sure did.
And he also explained to you why most people don't say the name.
And I'm gonna say this as, like, player remembers Cam saying that name like 3 or 4 times after learning it.
Yeah.
And then finding out that information and going, oh!
Yep. And you also learned that technically one of his old guards is also here, which that was not common knowledge. And you guys do have Halvor here as well. That was more player knowledge as far as the name, because he did not specify who, because you never asked.
Nope.
Literally, it's the Candyman.
Candyman.
Say that shit in a mirror.
But yes, he did, then the conversation with Zarvis was a lot of, like, just leadership and dad advice. Basically telling you, you still have a choice in what you want to do. But his main advice was, you want people fighting by your side and want to die with you, not watching from a distance.
Yeah.
At least that's his outlook on it, but he grew up with, obviously, Feywild type of mentality where they fought together. Yeah. So it's all a little bit different perspectives on how they handle it. Everybody who led something or is in charge of something handles something different. Never hurts to talk to him about it more. With Harx, there was the conversation with Angel. You did go and talk with Elijah. He essentially explained what was wrong. He did also offer that he is going to attempt to find his own place around here and see if he can get Julius to move in with him for no reason in particular. That's fine. That's a problem he's dealing with.
Oh, good.
He's got a few more distractions than just Mihi ignoring him.
Don't worry. That part of the conversation also didn't sit well with someone else. It's fine. It'll sit well with Harx for information because he already figured something happened. Sure, it's fine.
Was there anything? No, yeah, you had to talk with Angel, which Angel just kind of. It kind of turned into a little bit of a snapback for a bit there.
Oh, good.
Two smart asses, man.
Yeah, he's kind of trying to approach the same way with Rand, but he's kind of wondering if he should do it differently because he was attempting to do the let's throw a bit of a reality check at you a little bit and see if you question any of it, but he did not feel like he got very many places with that. So the conversation is a little. He's not sure how it went per se. He'll have to kind of see it in action to see if anything came from it before he tries to address it again.
Yeah, sure, it's fine.
And in the time he wanted to originally go talk to Mihi, and then he realized he can't talk to her. Not by himself, at least. So he went to Amos and is going to go there immediately in the morning to have a little spell cast on him. So he can try to talk to her for part of the walk, at least until that spell wears off.
Actually, apparently I got booted from tabletop. That's fine. I can fix it.
Indeed.
It's easy enough.
Yeah. And that's where we are. You guys rested. I just moved you off the board so I knew who was going, because I was asking questions in the background of like, was Julius going and was Zach going? They are not. So it's just you four. And it's a few angels still living. Well, currently around. Until they hit 0.
Yeah, I'm sure that's fine. Sure, nothing bad can come of that.
Nah. But yeah. You all wake in the morning? What do you do?
Dad, I'll go. Morning.
No.
You don't know? You guys were gonna get ready to leave in the morning, I know that.
Yeah.
No, that's a definite.
Angel's gonna wait until he knows for sure when we're leaving before
Fair.
he goes to almost about the
Yeah,
spell.
fair. If I want to go check something. Damn, I was wishing it was one of the ones that upcasting gave you a longer time.
It's not.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I know, because it's such a low level spell.
Yeah. Yeah, Harx would probably just get up and like start gathering whatever he needs and start getting ready to go meet people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Reyan probably spends a little bit of time assuring Zach that he will do everything he can to let him know that things are fine. And then probably do a fly around to like knock on doors or whatever to go like, hey, I'm ready to go kind
All
of
he's gonna tell you is that I'll know if you're not.
Better point. Just please stay here where it's safe. Don't do something rash.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to take that as a yes.
Mm-hmm.
Deal with the problem later.
Well, remember, if you die, I die too, so.
Yep, understood.
be
I don't
careful.
plan on dying. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he's just flying around to tap on, like, windows and stuff like that.
Okay.
To, like, let people know, like, hey, I'm ready to go. And he'll probably, like, go stop by Ace to let him know that they're getting ready to leave and gather up and stuff.
Angel's probably waiting over there because he has no idea where he's going. He knows that you guys have to go to the teleporter thing, but you guys also don't technically know where you're going.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah, we all have to go over there. Sure, that's all fine, dandy.
It's a good day. Good fun time.
Yeah.
I'll fetch my armada later.
Yeah, so you all gather up at his place. It's up to you if you have any other questions for him. He'll basically give you the location. It is in the material plane, but it's still going to be quite a travel.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, teleportation circles, they have to stay hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fine.
And he'll probably kind of show you on a map when you get there, like how which direction you would go and things like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We currently don't have any intel on what all is over there in the material plane. We just know that there's people.
You know, it's still like people living there. They're still like civilians.
Mm-hmm. But we don't know like any specifics about said all of that.
I mean, you know, it's a lot of people that it's one of the places that has the dragons controlled to the main city.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fine.
As long as you don't raise any red flags, you should be okay.
Fox, have you seen our party? We are the walking red flag.
Well, you definitely look a lot more well off than a lot of people would living out there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else that you need from me before you go?
Don't believe so.
Keep in
Unless-
mind, a rescue team might take a little bit, so yeah. At least give us a heads up if you need one.
Of course.
Hopefully we won't need one.
Technically, you're the rescue team. That's the problem.
Then we will definitely not need one.
I will make sure people are posted so your dragon doesn't go through it. How about that?
Thank you.
With luck, they'll get out of that uninjured, but
Yeah. Also on top of that, if he freaks out and my dad finds out, sorry? I will be safe.
still haven't told him?
Yeah, do you want to tell him that his son died?
Not particularly, but I don't think that's my problem. I think that's yours.
Gee, thanks.
I agree. Best of luck when that comes around.
Just know, the longer he waits to find out, the worse it might be.
I know, I just don't know how to tell him.
Told him about, your mother yet?
Mm.
Well, good luck with that.
Okay.
See, I don't know how to approach these two very sensitive topics.
Like how everybody's just like, yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
No support. Don't worry about it. You don't need it.
Well, that is Ace's version of support.
That is his version. He'll step
That's-
in if it gets bad.
Yeah.
That's true.
And Reyan knows that. Reyan knows, like, hey, if things are gonna go bad, he's got somebody at least there to, like, pull the ripcord for him.
Mm. Well, if there is nothing else, you may continue on your way.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You guys head out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeet.
We're gonna go on this map.
Spires want to get us killed.
I'm not gonna get us killed.
I don't believe you.
And we're just
I'm
gonna open
not.
this for
She can't get us killed if we get ourselves killed first.
nice little
That's true.
travel map.
Marks jumps off the cliff.
Y'all, please. I am still the cleric despite popular belief.
You're a cleric. Shit.
So, Mihi,
Hi.
the little cat's gonna run up to you and walk by you. So... Okay, I have a question for you, Jay. Comprehend languages. Did he have to cast it on both of them? Because I don't know if it makes it so she can understand him.
So what he cast was tongues, which no. The spell grants creature you touch the ability to understand any spoken language it hears. Moreover, when the target speaks, any creature that knows at least one language and can hear the target understands what it says.
Do they have to be the same languages?
No.
Okay.
They just have to know at least one and can speak, essentially.
Okay. Yeah, so aren't you not really aware of much in this world? Still learning things?
I'm sorry, what do you say?
You're not really aware of much in this world, you're still, like, learning things?
Is that a question or a statement?
I'm just making sure that's correct.
That is correct, then.
Has no one been sitting you down to teach you?
A lot to teach.
A lot to teach, a lot harder to learn on your own. And he's making sure you both can hear this. He's not being subtle.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, there's some opinions on, that you don't really put in a say of how you feel or what to do because you don't understand everything going on. Do you want to be able to give your opinion?
She do a thunk.
I guess more... I've noticed when they ask if you're okay with something, you just say yes and follow along a lot. Even if you don't understand something, you know you could ask or attempt to be part of the conversation, right?
Possible.
Hmm. Do you know how to process things like how you feel or anything like that?
I would guess not.
Hmm. I want to try to find a way to make you guys work together more And I would like to hear your opinion more. Is there anything you'd like to do?
Nothing to come to mind at the moment.
You don't take a joy in anything? You know, something that makes you smile?
A long while.
Hmm?
Not in a long while.
I have 3 very depressing people right here. All for different reasons. We need to find out something you're good at. That way, when you join in conversations, you can contribute with that skill. I think the first thing is that some people need to teach her how to speak common.
Okay, so we can hear that, right?
Oh yeah.
Cool. And Harx was there when Reyan was mentioning getting books.
He already kind of was a little snappy with Harx about the same topic, to be fair, about teaching her.
Well, like I said,
The mic is broken.
oh no.
There we go.
But yeah, because Harx was in the library when Reyan mentioned getting books to learn for her to learn common.
And he had been trying occasionally. He just then got busy periodically trying to keep people up.
Without turning around, Harx just hollers back, "The cleric is already on it."
Yeah, I've noticed he translates a lot.
Oh no, he's also actually trying to teach her. They got books marked in the library for her.
Hmm. I still think you both could contribute to that. But I guess you guys have your way of doing things.
I'm also trying to figure out a way not to die by wizard when someone eventually finds out some information.
What happened?
Oh, you mean the whole thing in that house?
Oh no, not that one.
Oh, okay.
No. Don't anybody worry about that one. So, you're aware of who... I feel like Harx discussed this with people.
Depends on what you're talking about.
The whole threat from Cyrano. No, I don't think he did actually. He mentioned it to...
You kept it
No.
very quiet.
Yeah. Well, let's see. If I let slip to Julius that the puppeteer is his father, I will
Not
die.
puppeteer. Toymaker.
Toymaker. The other one. That's what he said. That's what he would have said. So that's a fun thing.
Who now?
Wait.
Oh, damn.
Wait a minute.
You guys went to the past and I think kind of figured it out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We knew that much, but like the threat is what
Yeah.
Rand's
Yeah.
cut
Yeah.
up on. He's just like,
Oh yes, all-powerful wizard threatens to kill lovely old changeling if information shall slip from my lips to Julius.
That's a
You
little
could-
more than what he actually threatened. But yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
I'm
Sorry.
concerned.
Well, to lessen your concern, let me rephrase for you. Get a little more accurate. He will erase every aspect of my being from Julius's memories and erase me from his life. I feel like that's a bit better.
Uh,
That sounds like it would suck.
Indeed. So while I deal with that and try and figure out how to make him have him realize who his true father is, Reyan can be the teacher for the simpler task.
or one of us could tell him, and you can teach Mihi for a minute.
I don't think that is the wisest choice.
He threatened you.
Yes, but
Never
apparently,
said anything to the rest of us.
but I think he's realizing Julius is looking into it. He's not too thrilled about that already.
Brain just shrugs. I'm getting curious these days. I wouldn't mind helping him.
You know, I already pointed out to Rin that there's a lot of internal conflict in your just your space, not your necessarily group, but your space. And I asked her a
Yeah.
question of like, how does she know that there isn't already a war brewing? And I think that is now even more valid of a question.
Technically, there will be not disruption should two people get very close to one another.
What?
People have
Which
to put aside
two?
their differences. He's just mumbling now.
Harx will look directly at Reyan
Uh-huh.
and, so the toy maker, Julius's real father, is in the same city as Cyrano.
You know, we put a lot of explosive personalities in a very small, contained space.
But thankfully, one of them has no want to even go near the other, and the other has promised to stay away from them.
Oh, that sounds very familiar.
Doesn't it, though?
So are they both aware of each other's presence?
No.
Ah, that's probably why. Probably for the best.
The one who would have no interest in even going near it, the other has no idea they're even there.
That's... Oh boy.
And that would be Cyrano.
Again, probably for the best for now, at least.
100% agree.
But eventually, that won't last forever.
No. That's fine. Elijah's going to attempt to take Julius and possibly Mystic, not sure, to his own abode when he finds one. Being patron and all that.
Alright.
But back to the original thing. I am trying to teach her when I have a minute. She sometimes disappears too, so...
It would probably be good, because currently I've really only found out your strength. This one complains too much for me to figure it out just yet, and this one doesn't talk.
Rude stickers.
Or maybe you fail to realize my strength lies in people not knowing what it is.
But that makes it difficult to work together.
Fine, let me be open. My strength is being an asshole. It's one of many.
I'm glad you're not one of the advisors on the council, then.
Oh, please do not put me on any council.
Like I said, this group doesn't need a leader. It needs a group of people who will talk and make decisions together.
Why did a Family Guy episode just play in my head?
And that includes you, little miss. I expect
Noted.
you to be having full conversations by the time I leave.
I realize learning languages is not that easy.
Depends on the teacher. Learning anything is not easy, but sometimes it depends on the teacher and the skills and how smart she is. Are you smart? I couldn't keep a straight face.
Define smart.
Can you pick up on things very quickly? Learn quickly?
Is there like a pebble or a stick on the ground, like slightly ahead of them?
Oh no.
Sure, there would be plenty.
As she walks by a pebble, she'll pick up the pebble.
Mm-hmm.
Looks directly at Angel. And motions with hand.
He's just watching her.
Would you consider this picking up on things?
I think the first thing you need to learn is when somebody is just telling you a phrase over actual literal sense.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
I think that needs to be your first lesson. Teach her
I've
what the
been-
difference between literal and a turn of phrase.
I've been trying periodically whenever it comes up.
Yeah.
There are some things that I am not comfortable talking about.
She also needs to learn sarcasm, and if they're not comfortable talking about it, that's where he should come in then.
Kind of like narrows his eyes at Harx. He won't.
Isn't he the one that explained the whole cock thing?
Yes, I was.
Well, good, you know anatomy at least. Don't ask.
Don't
This was an
ask.
actual conversation they had.
Yep. It was indeed.
I feel bad for whichever one of you has to give her the
I'm
The
not.
talk.
Nope. I not it. Not it. That's not mine.
Figured I'd leave that for the cat man.
no.
Not you.
Kind
Not
of
you.
like spins around. Mom. Cam just leans out from behind wherever she's at. Oh no. Points at Mihi. You can talk to them, right?
She'll nod.
My mother is the best person for that talk. Trust me.
So, what, you got like a boyfriend or something?
Boyfriend?
A very, somebody you're intimate with. You know what that means?
She will look confused.
Oh, God.
So she doesn't have one then, okay.
Cam's going to lean forward over to Mihi and go, someone you have sex with.
Huh.
Cam doesn't dance around terms unless it's with very specific people.
Hmm.
I feel like this is slightly cheating, getting Cam to do it.
I
But Zarvis is
I
not
forget
wrong. Not
the,
Zarvis. Rain's not wrong.
does the Flap Army speak telepathically, or are they?
They do with her.
I see.
I'll give you that. They will with her.
Okay. Yeah, she will continue to walk while being all funky.
Yeah, you know, one of the best ways for her to learn is think about like when kids get read stories. Pick something she's interested in and read her some stories. Teach her how to read. In other languages besides Celestial.
That was partly the reason for the books. It was advised that she's independent in some cases, so...
Well, I mean, it might help her understand phrases more if she's seeing it in like a story format. Could work.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than constantly trying to explain it every time. At least then you'll have a reference to explain.
That would be helpful, yeah.
Well, I think I have officially hit the brick wall of this conversation. At least I know I don't have to work with you as much. As he looks at you, Rand.
He just kind of like sheepishly rubs the back of his head like,
Unless I see more of what I saw yesterday. Then I probably will.
I did a lot of talking at least.
Progress. Now teach them to do it.
I'm not allowed at this round.
That's kind of glances back at Harx. Looks at me here like, okay, yeah, but like glances at Harx like the
Yeah, I already had the conversation, and I've realized I'm just your mediator at this point, I think.
Sorry.
I was hoping that wouldn't be my job. But no, it's never easy getting people to work together.
was, would you really need to talk to all of us?
It was very easy with you. All I had to do is ask the right questions.
Maybe you just didn't ask the right ones.
Maybe you didn't listen.
I mean, I asked the simple questions of, how do you feel, and I couldn't fully get that other than you're annoyed with some things and don't want to, make decisions, but yet, as I explained, you still kind of have to make decisions to work together.
I believe my exact phrasing, and I will be completely open and honest out loud with this, is that I was tired of being looked for to make the final decision.
Mm-hmm. And you got, a small child, and looks at me. 2 small children.
You're gonna be a smartass now. Probably not. Let's see.
Who I think have the mental capacity of 5-year-olds sometimes. No offense.
You know what? And he just stops dead in his tracks from walking. And just turns. We want to have this conversation, let's have it. He will look at the both of them and in Celestial. So, looks at Reyan.
Uh-oh.
You don't think your opinion matters with the way I respond to you sometimes, and I understand that, and I very much apologize. But for your information, I do take each suggestion you make seriously, and even implement them into the final decisions that I have to make. Because I'm tired of making them on my own, when all they do is get possibly people severely hurt or killed. Looks at me. When it comes to trying to get a plan together, while we're trying to hash out plans, the constant is that all or anything. Use your words. They're rattling around in there. I know they are. I know things are difficult to understand because nothing is the same as it was. And I know it is hard to get adjusted to a place you're not familiar with it. Now, he's right on one regard. We do need to work together. Because that is the only way we're going to survive. Is we work as a group and not as a team with a leader. Because I for damn sure don't want to be a leader. I apologize if my very blunt smartass remarks come off as very, very poor timing and make either of you feel like shit when it happens. But I am that way to protect myself. In all honesty. So, I've said my piece. I'm sure more will come of this. So let me have it.
That insane hesitation on whether or not he's actually going to say anything.
You swear you hear the dial-up tone.
Oh God. No.
God damn it, do not remind me of my childhood.
I instantly cringed when he said it.
You're welcome.
I cannot mimic the sound, unfortunately.
Mm-mm. Please don't.
Right. I want to, but I can't. Like, my
Nope.
brain is automatically going, do the sound, do the sound. I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't hurt people's ears. Don't do it.
You got
So
mail.
12 somehow get a freaking soundboard with that sound to torture all of them.
No.
If I get a stream deck, that'll be the first sound on it.
Yeah.
That'll be
that's
the
fair.
only sound I ever put on it.
Buffer.
See something dumb as hell in Dead by Daylight. And dial-up tone. The fuck?
God, that would make my DVE content so much funnier.
Reyan's gonna kind of like shift very uncomfortably because he's trying to figure out how to word it without starting an argument.
He's just looking between you all. You know, it's good to fight once in a while, too. Hint it up, you're just gonna end up making a much bigger blowout later.
Yeah, but I don't want to fight.
Why not?
Doesn't feel like anything gets resolved and people get upset when we fight.
Like who?
I would say that one again.
Like who?
Everyone around us. I mean, we argued in the marketplace and everyone scattered the second it happened.
Don't look at me. Well, no offense, but I don't think they should be sheltering you from everything and making everything rainbows and ponies. You should really start to see what happens when people fight.
Very well.
And if it makes you uncomfortable, yell right back. Or tell them to knock it off.
Fuck it. He's gonna look at him again. You know what? It's probably a mistake bringing it up. This is going to be an even bigger mistake. I understand when people don't like to fight. I understand when people don't want to kill. Buckle up, sunshines. The farther we go in this adventure, it's going to get much cooler.
I think that's where we butt heads a lot, though. Because it doesn't always have to end that way. And it feels like it's always where we go.
Alright, then you tell me. What result are we going to get when we go after the elf?
What is the best case scenario in that one?
In my version or yours?
Yours. The sunshine and rainbows, as he put it.
It's not sunshine and rainbows. There are still people hurt in every aspect of this. I'm not saying there won't be a potential fight. Maybe there's a way to make it to where not as many people get hurt in the process. And maybe we're not doing it alone.
Right, it is where we butt heads, because from what we know of the elf, spoiled rich kid, very dangerous, does not listen to anyone except his own self and will never give in to anything else.
I never said we were going to talk him down. But there are ways of doing things quickly and carefully. It may not be in our wheelhouse to do that, though, and it might benefit us to talk to other people that can do those things.
You're not wrong. Some of those stuff is not in our wheelhouse. But kind of looks towards Cam. It really wasn't in theirs either.
He's gonna just kind of glance at his mom, then look back at Harx. We're not them.
They're not us. What I'm getting at, no matter what, we're not going to go in this as best prepared as we hope to be. Because we don't know what he has there, any of his experiments or friends and unfortunately, the best recon we can get is possibly the layout of the place. And our best chances of getting that are from one person returning from a trip that we're not going to go check in on, and the other hopefully is not caught in a trap or dead that we're going to check on currently here in the material plane. Or the blind one back home. Those are our three best options for the layout.
Not necessarily. And we may not have to rely on their memory. We don't have to go in blind.
If there's anyone else who has more information on that place than those three.
Have they ever been there?
If he's still in their home, two of them are his brothers, and one was a slave, I guess is what he was. I don't know.
And
Player
where is their
question.
home?
Wasn't the home destroyed? Like,
Arcadia? Yes.
The whole city was?
It was attacked because Jax had gone to the hells to be with his wife at one point. So there was no one there defending it outside of the normal guard. It was either that or Ruby went there, but then the hells probably would have gotten attacked first. Might have actually been able to defend itself a little better because of demons, but you know.
Wait, so Kendall's not in Arcadia?
He is not. He's on one of the islands that
Oh,
were
fun.
pointed out.
I was over here like,
because you
we
guys
know the layout.
You guys know that the islands were controlled by the allies of this dragon that surrounded this specific continent. So you guys do know that. You don't know if they actually leave and come back here at all, and you're also unaware of one of them, like who runs one of them.
See, I'll be 100% honest. This entire time I've been picturing us having to deal with them in the home we dealt with as far as with our other characters.
No.
So
and that was probably just forgotten because that was stated like very beginning of the campaign when Ace talked to you guys the first time.
Yeah, I had been operating under the assumption that we didn't really know anything about where Kendall was.
You knew his location. That was about it. Yeah. But you also have to figure out like how to get there and things like that. There's so much more to figure out.
Get filleted.
Yeah, I think so.
He got filleted. Right.
Can hear nothing. Whoop!
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get my hair tied in the meantime. Hang on.
Right, I too have fire.
I need to go resub to her.
Cheese. Why I have cheese, I don't know, but I have cheese.
Hair tie.
But yes.
Hello.
Are you back, Jay?
Yes.
Yeah, at the beginning of the campaign, it was stated that they knew some of the places, like they knew the dragon was on the northern island. I have notes somewhere, but Kendall was either on the east or southern. And then Toymaker more stayed in the ethereal plane. He was the only one that was still on the continent. There was another one that you did know of. I'm trying to remember who that was. Oh, the demigod is on one of them, and then the other one, they know that someone is on it, but they don't know. They basically surround this continent, though.
Yeah. I'm very honest. I'll be very upset if Taro was the other one. Because we don't actually know what area we found, where we landed with him.
Yeah. You don't know.
I'm very upset.
That's a good idea, though, but no, it is not.
Fuck.
It is a wonderful idea. But it is not.
I'm not signing into you.
I will give you that clarification.
I was actually saying, when you said, you actually don't know, I was like, we don't know where we picked up Taro. Motherfucker, I hope he wasn't on wasn't on that other one.
No, he was on a more secluded one that was pretty far from, like, this place.
Gotcha.
Like, even from those, so.
Okay. But yeah.
Which is
so then disregard So then disregard everything he said as far as about them knowing the location, as far as the area.
Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't necessarily send scouts that you guys know of, but he has tried to send people before.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't come back.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Which is why he probably hasn't tried to send specific people.
Okay, then he would have said, well, they're on an island, and I guarantee he'll know we're there once we step foot on it.
Yeah.
Is a distinct possibility. I was warned about that.
So we just don't lay foot on it?
Easier said than done.
Well, he'll look at the two of them. Well, that's all fine and dandy for you two. You both can fly.
I don't know how to do that, unfortunately.
Neither do I. But even then, I'm sure he has something to know when people show up. Him being a druid and all. Part druid, anyways.
Yeah. It's a good thing I can make big explosions, huh?
I can make things bleed.
Oh, that... I talked to Ace a little bit about this. Just trying to get advice. One of the things might be creating a diversion. If he's focused somewhere else, others can sneak in.
Right.
There are options. We have to think about them.
Wait, so you're saying I actually can make a big explosion?
Yes.
Oh,
Very possibly.
You could make a big explosion on his fucking head for all I care as well.
Well, I prefer when things don't get near me. I'm not the best at close combat. I will give you that much.
Oh, he doesn't have to get close, just blow his fucking head up.
A little smaller of a target, but sure, I can try.
Hey, what's a small target when it's a big explosion?
But you see my point.
No, trust me, I do. I just...
You're trying to do this alone to not put anyone else at risk. But what if they're willing to take that risk anyway?
So, here's the thing. It's not as much that. I'm fine with other people taking risks. You know anyone he captures will be used directly against us as one of his experiments, correct?
That death, injury, kind of comes with the territory.
Correct. You know, it's bad enough I'm his daughter's fucking experiment.
By your own choice without discussing it with any of us.
Oh yes, I definitely had a time to discuss it with anyone.
You could have.
So the instant moment I got in the way of her experimenting on Zach, I had to... There was a choice for me to come discuss with you all. Hey, by the way,
there's this lady outside that wants to experiment on a dragon. Either that or I can be the experiment. Which would you rather have
Did
happen?
you try to ask her if you could talk with a few people? If
don't
she could
think
wait
that was
for
an
a
option.
decision? Why? Why did you think that wasn't an option?
Because it was either me or Zach.
Why
Because
was
I
it
saw them.
you?
Because I saw them.
And because you didn't ask for 5 minutes to think about it. You didn't talk, you acted. There could have been another option, and you didn't want to see it because it was right there in front of you and you acted. That's not always a bad thing, but sometimes you have to stop and think.
You know, there's a difference between acting irrationally and going with the gut decision of the best possible one.
Is that what you would say by my decision of what I did?
Oh, you mean believing the very creepy strange man?
I acted on my gut decision.
You followed a very creepy strange man.
To find you, to rescue you, and to protect everyone else, which is what you would have done.
I probably would have questioned much more.
And then done the same thing.
Wait, so
After
why
putting
did
a blade
you-
in him.
Why did you need to be rescued?
Oh, there was this creepy temple in the Celestia capital city that we were presented with spending the night in because it was much closer and it was dark by the time, and of course it's a temple, sure, let's just say I was kidnapped in my sleep.
We should have looked
And-
around. We should have gotten more information, and we didn't.
I was about to
And
say,
then this-
when does the part of questioning come in?
Well, looks at Reyan.
And the void consume.
No, I'm
Yay.
here.
Not you.
Oh no, him. I was like, no, I'm here.
Damn it, the void can't consistently kidnap two people. That's not how it works.
No, it sometimes does work like that. Don't put it out in the ether.
I refuse. The ether is fun. It's where all my best ideas are. Oh, and eyes on your wallet. No reason in particular.
Hmm. I'm very interested in what he's gonna say because Angel has a little bit of a comment to make here.
Rain was
You got two
gonna remind-
snarky people now.
Yeah.
Also, I am very upset with AT&T.
Why?
Yeah.
We were sold AT equivalent. TT's like, hey, switch to us now. This will be your bill, and it'll be due at this time. The bill is twice what they said, and it's due sooner.
Question, did you have them come in and install it?
No, cell phones.
Oh,
Check your contract.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they were sold this there was someone at Sam's Club that's going like, hey, affordable phones here.
Check the contract.
Yeah, they were not presented with a contract.
Hmm.
I think I'll get specifics later, but all I know is I currently have a very expensive phone, which I might have to swap out again. Next time I'm directing them to fucking Mint Mobile. Anything supported by Deadpool has to be. Hashtag not
Fair
sponsored. Hashtag
What was
not
that, Dave?
sponsored.
So, what he had said before everything said no. What was it again? You were going to speak with his master, correct?
Yes.
And was led down a very winding path because it was the same one I was dragged down while paralyzed to where a bone spider was.
So, let me get this straight. You all went in there and didn't question anything. When a creepy person just invites you inside.
Well, when you're confronted with the only living person you see outside of a temple that you know is one of the only inhabited places in there, you tend to get curious about how have they survived.
I get that. I also know not to necessarily trust everyone just because they're from a temple. You know how many, like, warlock temples there are and things like that?
Ouch, that's offensive.
I've seen enough, well, not so much seen, heard of stories of the sacrificial ones. Are you one of those?
Lips at Puck. I'm not only one of those.
She shakes her head.
No.
Good.
To be fair, I did mention wanting to potentially look around, but then we wanted to go to bed. I tried to ask what I could. I didn't know there was a bone spider down there, and I wouldn't have known if I didn't go down there. And
You date him again. He
Definitely.
jinxed it. He was doing fine before stream, and then as soon as he said something about, like, his internet, now it's like
you don't
full
talk
eating
about
him.
it.
Yeah.
You don't talk about it.
It only did partial drops because it didn't even disconnect him from Discord before.
We don't talk about Fight Club.
Exactly.
So about that Fight Club.
Oh, there will be one soon if it doesn't stop.
Fight Club.
It's fine. It's fine. What was the last thing you heard?
I don't know.
I
From the
guess
top.
start over.
Because I was in the middle of talking when it dropped, so I don't know what was said after.
I did not realize you were still talking. My bad. You dropped much sooner than. Cool. What was the last thing you were saying?
I don't remember.
The last thing we heard was something about the bone spider.
No, you were talking about the guy in the temple and then the sacrificial ones.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
Puck said no.
Right, and I had said no, and then it dropped.
Okay.
Because I heard nothing
Okay.
else after that.
Were you going to say anything after that point?
No, he would have looked at Angel. No.
To be fair, I had asked if we wanted to look around, and we went to bed instead. I know I could have asked more questions, but he wasn't answering them clearly, so I followed. I wouldn't have known there was a bone spider there no matter what happened. I suffered those consequences.
You died.
And I am sorry that I put you all through that.
You don't get it. Don't be sorry that you put us through it. I'm sorry because I blame myself for it. Because I decided it was the best idea to, sure, let's follow the creepy individual.
Puts up a paw. Your idea, sure, we could go with that. They still followed you. No one still looked around in the end. Nobody asked the questions. So aren't you all a little partial to blame to this? Not just one person.
I was the first to go to bed, go to the room, one of the rooms that was given to us as well.
And that's another mistake. You guys went to separate rooms?
Yes.
In a
Interestingly
strange
enough,
place.
that one I cannot put on myself. Just because I entered a room first does not mean I could not have been followed into the room.
Now see, what have we learned? Did you learn anything from this experience?
Always split up in places we're comfortable in.
To an extent, you should still always be cautious in my opinion, but...
I was expecting more of a smart-ass remark than that. So I was prepping. Okay, fine.
What did I learn from my experiences on the road? Don't trust strangers.
Yet here you are with us in the middle of nowhere material plane.
Yeah. Because I trust the people who sent me with you, not you.
And as I stated, I trust that they would not have sent someone that would kill us in our sleep.
Do you?
If I didn't, I'd have serious questions about Ace, because those are his niece and nephew. And if we died at the hand of the person they sent with us, I'm sure he would have serious questions for them.
And I take no offense if you don't trust me anyways. I think that everyone should always be cautious of people even if they trust them. Because as I was telling Reyan once, yesterday, you never know when somebody might turn their back on you. It depends on the kind of offer they get. Survival, there's all kinds of factors. Anyone can be bribed. Nothing wrong with trusting people. I'm saying that you should still always have that in the back of your mind to not let it hurt you. As much, at least. Believe me, I was a dumb kid once. And you think people would be nicer to a dumb kid.
I do have a rhetorical question because I keep getting told that nobody wants to see me die, but say I do. Who's going to make decisions?
Isn't that what we're working on?
Which is a good reason to get better at it. I said rhetorical. I've already stated he's right. We need to work on it.
It would definitely be a decision. I'm just here temporarily, so please don't include me in that.
We appreciate your help.
But he's not wrong in that aspect. You all should really think about what happens if one of you were to die and not come back. How are you gonna handle that?
Which, by the way, newsflash is a real possibility whenever I decide I want to go wolf hunting.
Wolf hunting?
He's dead set on this thing that he, I'm going to call it his suicide mission.
I'm sorry, would you not want to go through and hunt down the things that stormed through your village and wiped out your people?
The only people I worried about was my family. I kind of enjoyed the rest of them burning.
And there you go. This village was a family.
And I don't see how it's a suicide mission if it's at least a chance to get revenge on them.
The problem lies, however, if they kill you, they eat your soul. So there's no coming back from that.
I've heard the dragon can do that.
That's also another point of order. And why I highly avoid any conversation about us going after that one anytime soon.
At the very least, we need to weaken its allies.
And so I went for the one that I hope is the least dangerous. Because it's either elf, a fucking demigod. Well, technically the other one that was an option originally is currently back home, and he kind of worked for himself.
What is our list of enemies? Is it an elf, a demigod?
Unknown.
An unknown, and a dragon.
There's also... Indeed. The dragon, self-explanatory, fuck that, we're not going after the dragon first. The demigod, again, fuck that, that is a fucking demigod.
From the stories I've heard from traveling, sorry to interrupt you.
No, fair.
But I don't think you'll have a choice but to deal with the dragon at some point.
Oh no, that is another personal thing I wish to deal with.
No, I mean, I doubt you'll have to go to it. It'll probably come to you when you cause enough trouble.
I'm well aware.
Taking out one of its potential allies is definitely going to do that. We've already stirred
Depends
up
if
a
it gives
little
a shit about him.
I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, looking at Cam. With whatever hand motion or whatever you do to correct someone. Because I don't think he knows that she can talk to people within certain distances.
I mean, you've seen people talk with her. You probably...
But doesn't know if that's a thing because family or not.
Yeah.
So... I'm under the impression that the elf family was more a tool of the dragon, correct? Kind of a distraction it used.
They both used each other, from my memory, and that's also player talking, going like, I think that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they actually technically worked with the toy maker and the demigod more.
Mm-hmm.
So, puppeteer. More than the dragon. At least at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At the time, they worked a little more closely with the others.
I don't see this is where it works. I don't think he's much of, yes, definitely ally, but I don't think he's as connected as the others.
Losing one may not trigger him, but losing two could potentially make him ready to attack. So you definitely should pick your second target wisely.
Which...
And knowing how things were, more than likely it will trigger potentially the demigod if they're still working together.
I guess it also depends on the deal they made. If they're under its protection.
Well, makes me wonder what happened to the rest of his family.
I don't think he cares.
No, I mean the rest of Kendall's family.
Again, I don't think he cares.
Would there be people who would know?
Indeed, which will have at least two of them, three of them, once we hopefully bring this one back. If they're still alive, there's always a possibility they're not. Hopefully, at least their other brothers would know. But if they're under the demigod's protection, I don't know if they'd be gone.
Isn't the demigod kind of over the domain of the in-between, like, life and death stuff? He was Raven Queen bound?
Correction, Raven Queen's son.
Right.
And yes,
Maybe they don't have to be alive for the deal to still be intact.
or wouldn't they be more valuable alive?
Not necessarily.
Fair enough.
A soul is still pretty valuable. We've seen plenty of reasoning to that, especially considering the dragon, it gets power from it, doesn't it?
Maybe he's the
Sure.
one who delivers its souls.
That's why he is not worried about his family, Kendall, because their souls are protected from that. They don't have to be alive to be protected.
Don't think killing Kendall is going to trigger the effects of the demigod.
Unfortunately, there's only one way to really find out what'll happen.
And that's our next step. Well, not direct next step, obviously. But
Take one out and see what happens.
which is why this is the better of the remaining four options.
So, are these people unknown on this last island because they don't come here, or are they just very good at hiding who they are?
Leave both. they're known that they exist. Just not what they do or who they are.
Probably send a scout out to see some activity on the island at least. Could also just be assumed, but it's a strong assumption.
Claire also just had another bad thought, and now I don't want to say it out loud, and I'm not going to right now.
I also have a bad thought, but that's because of player knowledge from a different character that's also going through a different thing right now. It's fine. I'll find out soon.
Oh no, what Angel did make, this is player speaking. It did mention, Angel did mention, as far as, you never know who's going to turn their back on you with what kind of promises are made. And I had very severe,
quite a bit.
and I had a very, very bad thought about who the unknown person can be, and I don't want to say.
I would love to hear your theory because I don't know if it matches mine.
Please give me more ideas.
Fuck it, I'll say it out loud. Harx is dead.
That's an interesting
that is
one.
Another interesting idea. Thank you.
That is not where I was thinking, but
Because what if he was promised to get his wife back?
Who knows?
there's a lot of people that could have been promised anything at this point. That island may not have to be just a one-person deal. It can be many.
The joke's on you, Mihi's like all birds, she's just an evil drone.
I knew it. She's a government spy.
Yep. Birds
Birds work for the bourgeoisie.
What was your idea, Spire?
As DM makes note.
I think you know already.
Do I?
Because someone else already put stuff out in the ether. It was brought to Rin's attention by said kitty cat amongst us that potentially Xander might not be dead.
But Xander wasn't as sacrificial as Ace and Lucky were.
No.
He had it to some extent, but not quite to their extent.
Yeah.
And I would say out of the three, Lucky was probably the worst with it.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I would be more worried about Lucky making a deal with this dragon.
That's true.
Oh no.
It's fine. He was dead. They killed him. Rin confirmed it. He's back now. It's fine.
There's some details Rin did not share, and we'll find those out if it comes up.
What is it? Only a piece of him that's there?
No, it's him.
No, it's...
I am a flap on a road.
It is him. He's just different.
Oh, it's him. It's him. I'm saying, but is it only a piece of him?
No. It's fully him. It is fully Lucky.
I will give you this hint, because I don't think Rin has really comprehended this yet. And the only one that is currently... Well, there's a couple people that could confirm, probably more in a thorough state, would be Cam and, Zarvis. Because they were in limbo and remember more of it than Ace does. Time passes so differently there. And Lucky's been dead for 17, 18 so years in your time. And eventually found his way into limbo sometime after his death. You're probably looking around anywhere between 10 to 15 years of your time translated to limbo time.
Yeah,
which is a lot longer.
We never figured out how much time. Yeah.
He made a comment to Rin, and I will give you all this as well, that he said it felt like centuries.
Yeah.
Because the days blur together. Because they don't sleep there.
Yep.
And Rin is aware of that, which is one of the reasons why she didn't leave him there, because she's like, if I leave and come back, it might be much longer for you, and I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was
Oh.
one of
She was
her
given
reasonings.
multiple warnings. By not
She
only
was...
the puppeteer, but by his wife!
Oh, Jesus Christ, Aspire! Aspire!
Yeah.
To
So I'm
be
a flap
fair,
on a road.
even with the
Yep,
warnings,
you are
the
a flap
wife
hop on the road.
It's fine. Everything's
My six.
fine.
But yeah, he'll. I believe our smartest act after this one would be figure out who in the hell the unknown one is.
It wouldn't hurt to try to get some information, see if they're even worth being a target right now. Or if they're more dangerous than the demigod. I guess that is up for debate.
Which is why their toss-up of which one should go next.
I don't know about you, but personally... So you're wanting to deal with the weakest, which would be this Kendall person, alright? At least that you think is the weakest of the
Correct.
group.
At least we hope it's the weakest. Hope the
I-
unknown doesn't end up being weaker.
Yeah, the unknown. Whether weaker would probably be preferred than the demigod, because I would think you wouldn't want that one still standing when the other two fall. Personally. But that's just my opinion. The second strongest probably should be the one to go.
Especially if he has the ability to snag souls.
Does he?
Especially since we're equipped to kill that one.
Hmm.
Or at least I am. But throat, voice, pain, suffer. If everything's fine. Hello, I'm a flap.
Maybe we could ask whoever took over for the Raven Queen. Find out what he knows.
He's not the most forthcoming with information, but we can talk with him.
To be fair, no one is forthcoming with information.
Go on and continue. I have to use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
While he may not, while a lot of people may not be forthcoming, he legitimately is not forthcoming with a lot of information, not just that stuff.
You find out a lot about a person when you give them a chance to talk. And let them know that you're listening.
Oh, from the stories I've heard, yes, he'll speak, but it's very, very cryptic, and he won't explain it to you.
That's usually how gods work, though.
This was before he became a god, Reyan.
He was involved with a god, wasn't he?
Yes, because he is their father.
So I would imagine that plays into it.
I hope so. Um, yes, the elf, maybe the demigod, maybe the unknown. We'll find out who is stronger than who. But for sure, the last one will be the dragon.
And hopefully by that point, we'll have what we need, including friends and others to help.
Well, we have a very powerful tentative ally with the Toymaker currently, and I use the term ally very, very loosely.
And that's just one. Imagine what else we could who else we could have in the caverns. Do you know everyone down there?
Good question. How social is Harx when it comes to everyone else out of his family?
God, probably knowledgeable to some extent about a lot of them.
So probably
But
like
not-
their names, where they're from.
Names, where they're from, some classes, like what they do, but not a lot of them as
You
far
would
as
know like the specifics. Essentially.
yeah, he'll know what they're like partially capable of, but never like exact.
So you've never like conversed with a lot of people.
Yeah,
Okay.
he'd know them in passing and stuff like that. Mostly probably hearing them have meetings with Ace or something if they did. Whenever he was around there.
Maybe.
But yeah. A good joke.
But not everyone. And even then, we've changed time a couple of times since then.
That is correct. We have.
He blinks.
Don't question it right now.
Right? He didn't know that.
But I kind of want to backtrack a little bit here. What?
That's kind of how this whole thing started.
You guys can time travel?
Technically
Yes.
speaking.
Yes.
What'd you say, Drag?
To varying degrees of success.
Well, yeah, haven't you guys ever heard the term of, like, don't kill a butterfly in the past or step on a bug? Because it could change the whole
Technically.
future?
Technically,
What's a
that's
butterfly?
how. It just points at one that's flying by.
Insect with wings.
And technically, it's a turn of phrase. It means ripple effect, like what happened when someone slipped to Lucky what happened in the future.
And you know what? Guess what? I would do it again because Motion's Angel, he's here.
I guess you hope that that's actually something that changed. He could have ended up doing that, but planned it later.
True.
Or even smaller.
Motions to his mom.
All I did was recommend my dad talk to his friend. It changed how I grew up.
I know that there's some history of wizards and stuff that can time travel. Or stop time altogether, change an event.
Mm-hmm.
From my little bit of knowledge, you're either prolonging something or you're exchanging it. Things still have to happen. Someone still has to die in their place. It may not have even been people you knew. Maybe that makes it easier, I don't know.
Depends on who you are, I guess.
mean, it's not a bad thing to try. You know, some people might have better skills and be worth keeping alive, and unfortunately, no offense to, he kind of nods to Cam, than to have some of the people here.
Cam just kind of shrugs, like, eh.
Like, he's looking at it as like, this would actually be like a reality thinking of like, that's actually not a bad strategy.
Which is how they started this whole thing out. It wasn't Reyan's favorite plan, but it was how they basically started it out. It was a, hey, just be aware, things are gonna change as you go about things. And we might get more people that could help us, but we might lose some people in the process. They were warned. But yeah, we can time travel a little. We haven't done it since the Lucky thing, I think. I don't remember anymore.
Well, if I hadn't told him, we wouldn't have been kidnapped by his adopted son.
Have you guys thought about how useful that can be, though?
Oh, yes.
I mean, have you thought about talking to the bad guys before they became the bad guys? See if you can get to know them a little more personally.
Would honestly be hilarious.
I mean, chances are obviously they remember you when you came back, but they probably wouldn't even think you're alive until that moment.
Herein lies an issue, however. Say we go back far enough. Talk to the dragon before he goes mad. That's going to send possibly the biggest ripple effect.
Well, I meant more his allies. I think going that far back would probably be a mistake, but
the elves. The elves is definitely not one that's going to change.
I didn't say they were going to change. But you might get hints on who might be working with them on that other island. Maybe they knew him back then. Or just knowing your enemy in general isn't that bad of an idea, even if you just watch from afar, right?
Hi, baby.
It's just a suggestion. I'm not saying you should do it, but it's a thought.
It's definitely something to think about, but yeah, definitely something we would have to be very careful with as well.
What, we haven't been careful?
No, we haven't. But would you rather still be breathing in the present?
Have you guys been walking or have you been stopped this whole time?
I think we started walking again.
Yeah, probably would have started walking again.
I would hope, because you guys have been standing here a while.
The very tense
it's
part
probably
passed,
been
and then,
over an hour, and me has probably stopped understanding the kid at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Back to translating.
Yeah. It probably would have been pretty obvious when she, like, gave a confused look or something.
Yeah.
Well, she started staring out into space some time ago, it's fine.
She's not fully part of the conversation right now.
Fine. She stood watch. She stood watch on the hallway on that day.
So, different perspectives, I guess. That's something that you should look into. I mean, that's an idea you guys didn't think of, obviously. Maybe someone else will have a better one than that.
Where it gives a small, just kind of like smirk, because that was kind of his whole thing.
Oh my god, he's picking up on the arrogant little shit. I can't tell if it's because of Angel or if it's just Harx rubbing off on him.
Or it could be the Ace upbringing finally poking through.
That is also very possible.
Finally poking through the veil of not knowing actually what happened with the raising and like, oh
The
god,
Well,
wait.
that's the
Bleeding.
thing is we
Bleeding
have
over,
discussed
yeah.
like part of it is starting to bleed over and stuff like that because he's staying in this particular timeline so long.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
It could be any number of combinations. Also, his parents were rather sassy too. Let's not forget that.
The service wasn't as bad.
No, but he had his moments.
Yeah, he was more of like the monotone, sarcastic moments.
Yes.
Well, at least you guys finally got some things out there. And the argument turned into a more civil conversation, didn't it? Funny how that works.
Isn't it?
Fighting can be healthy sometimes. Don't be afraid to do it.
One final thing, however. Reyan, if you need to kill something, please just fucking kill it.
He tenses at that. And it is not just his regular aversion to killing. It is. He's got this weird look on his face.
If it comes to it.
I recommend not letting me do that.
Please tell me it's not something that has to do with, and he'll kind of do like the motion, like towards.
Just don't let me do it. That's all. I will fight if I have to.
Lifts up his rapier as far as hanging at his side. Well, old friend. Looks like we'll be dealing the final blows. If he can't.
Cause
You don't get to have all the fun.
Oh no, please. You two looking at Mihi and Angel. If we have to kill anything, please join in.
Gladly. A lot of the people out here are assholes now.
Well, after repeated stabbing, the rapier gets dull, and I don't have time to sharpen it in the middle of battle.
That is kind of a funny problem, ain't it?
This one, however, holds up the dagger. It cuts through bodies like butter.
Ooh.
And just player saying it. Might have something to do with like the 1,000-degree knife type thing.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No.
But yeah, all of a sudden, player realized as Harx was saying that, oh, Reyan never told them.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Harx
That'll come
was
in character
only-
at some point, unless it doesn't.
I think Harx was only slightly warned, but he was never given details.
Never full details,
partial vague details.
It was more of don't let Reyan kill anybody. That was literally like all he was told, I think.
Yeah.
But it was one of those. He was more meaning if it comes to it, you have to.
Yeah.
Like,
Reyan
defend
is
yourself. Avoid it
Yeah.
if you can, but defend yourself still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reyan is trying to very harshly insist the whole like, hi, don't let me get in that spot. He's going to try and be the back support as much as possible for a while.
Fair.
Unless forced.
So anyway, the people we're going to find, hopefully, I really hope it's them just trying to get somebody else out here to get eyes on something that they don't feel comfortable with. Realistically, they're probably in a fucking trap, and they're...
Well,
need
as long
help.
as they're not like in a dungeon or something, I think we'll be fine.
Why must you say that?
Because I'm being realistic.
I don't want to go in a dungeon.
Oh, wow,
Last-
this sounds so familiar. Why does that sound familiar? Why does this conversation sound familiar? Oh, wait, we've had this conversation.
Well, I'm sorry, last time we went in a dungeon, you died.
I'm aware of that. I would just like to point out, you're saying things that I have said, and you've been, does air quotes, realistic.
You know, funny how that happens after somebody dies.
Don't worry. You'll get your turn, Harx, I'm sure.
Oh, please, let's not joke about that.
Maybe later. Today's not the day I want to.
Fine.
Let's at least get rid of the dragon first. Then whatever happens, happens.
Get rid of the dragon. Build up all the cities. Make babies, repopulate. You know the drill.
Just pulls hood down. Just pulls his hood down.
How red is Reyan's face?
Pretty red.
Well, you know, kind of, we're talking to Angel because everybody else knows that Keldor is one of the people that went to the material plane.
Mhm.
One of the individuals we're looking for is the brother of the elf we're going to go after. His name's Keldor. You'll know him by... He had blue hair too, right?
He was kind of a blonde.
He
was blonde,
was
but now
blonde.
it's more like white.
Right.
Gotcha.
Post-sciencey
experimentation.
bullshit.
Yeah. He had... You'll know him by, well, elf. Don't remember any other distinguished features off the top of my head, but also whitish hair.
Alright. Yeah, I guess it would help if I knew what I was looking for, huh?
He would go over all the people that he was told went on it.
At least that you
Kinda-
recall them,
Yeah.
how they look, yeah.
Don't say that.
I'm
Fox, if
sorry.
you
Am
want
I implying something?
Good. Hey, Fox, if you want another little DM giggle, you should check your DMs.
We already don't have nice things anymore because of you.
Oh, it's only gonna get worse.
Oh, yes. Please mention if that happens.
I'm not promising anything because it's only an intrusive thought. It's only intrusive right now. I don't know if he'd actually do it.
You've spoken it and given it purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I have just warned
granted
the
it power.
DM. I've just warned the DM about an intrusive thought I had because of something I know. So.
Okay, see, the intrusive thoughts would be, the usual of possibly turning the car off the road, or those are the ones you definitely don't go through with. Whatever you're
That's the
planning,
code
if you
word,
can get somebody killed, don't do it.
I mean, there's a potential that it may not end in death. But there's a 50-50. Okay, maybe not 50-50. I think I'm giving myself a little bit too much there.
More like
75, 25.
Yeah.
Oh, even worse. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How about
so,
this Killjoy fella?
yeah, he'll go over basic descriptions of the people. Hoping they're not. Yeah.
Okay. Gives him at least an idea of what to look for.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean he'll necessarily know him by immediately spotting him, but he has at least an idea. Keldor is probably the easiest description, just because he doesn't necessarily look elven either now. He still has the elven features, but he looks not humanoid anymore.
Yeah.
Because you got 3 elves you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And a tiefling and a human.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. We'll find them.
Some of his siblings went on this one, right? Did any of his siblings go on this one, or was it just the water? Okay.
No. This one, it was Lucian Silvergrove, which is one of the ones you guys ended up bringing back during one of your past trips.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the teachers at the wizard school.
Mm-hmm.
Silkus, which was the leader of Elysium.
Mm-hmm.
Rara was one of his guards.
Mm-hmm.
And Anku is the tiefling you guys met in the Shadowfell.
Right. And then obviously Keldor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I couldn't remember if one was in this group or any of the ones that went the water plane.
They went to the water.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think it was only
only Kirk, I think.
Yeah, I believe it was only the brother.
Yeah.
Because he's also a cleric, and it made sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is more of a stealth group that was sent.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Scary part.
Yeah. Three of the 4 of them are pretty stealthy. You do know that because the leaders are pretty well known. Even if you didn't talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep wandering, walking, and stuff. Yeah.
Alright. You guys keep walking. It does take you most of the day to get there.
Ooh.
It's actually probably a little bit darker than you'd like it to be because you did stop for a good while to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The question is, I mean, you can see the city. It's obviously one of the larger cities. It was the capital at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the best shape, but there is still some intact as far as, like, some people probably tried to rebuild what they could.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously no one tried to rebuild any of the walls.
Yeah.
And you do see, like, people moving, and some fires lit now that it's getting darker. It looks less like a large city, though, and more like if you had gone to a small village. Like, you don't see a ton of movement, you just see people here and there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of probably just whoever survived the initial attack or moved in after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And are just working for the dragon like all the other cities are, but it's more like they offer up things for protection or to be left alone.
Mm.
So like livestock, things like that.
Yeah.
Their usual thing.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so here's a plan. If you don't want to go with it, that's fine. We're not looking for anyone.
Passing by.
Exactly.
Stopping for the
Passing-
night.
Exactly. Because we don't know where they may have went and who they may have talked to. And I'd like to keep it that way for the time being. Because if they are in trouble, someone they would have talked to probably has them or probably put them in a trap. I'll reach out to Ace and see if we can't get last communications they got from them and try and piece it together that way of where they might be, at least, or the general vicinity. However, I do know there's a chance that we may have to talk to people, so leave that as a last resort.
If we run into someone that is really poking around, I don't use it often, but I do have something that might help us.
Alright. That's fine. Like I said, I want it to be a last resort to talk with people because we don't know who these people are. We don't know what they're capable of. But if it comes to it, yes.
He's gonna glance at him, at his wings, and then at Mihi and the three guardians, and be like, "I'm not sure how this is gonna go. I'm gonna be real,
If you guys
real
are
honest."
really suspicious of somebody, I typically can do something too. I'm just limited on how many times I can do it. Or how thorough.
Harx will kind of just shift forms real quick and then shift back. There's always a new person passing through. Should any of us draw too much attention?
Again, motions at himself and Mihi.
We're going to draw attention. I'm aware of this, but don't make it a focal point.
We try not to.
I'm aware. I'm more meaning. Don't draw more attention than what's already going to be on you. Eyes will be on you, curiosity will be on you, but don't give them a reason to be more curious.
Cam looks worried.
Like I said, if we don't agree with it, we can come up with another one, but I just feel like that is possibly our best option. Because as I said, we don't know who they talk to and what kind of trouble they may or may not be in. Well, they may have just stumbled in a place and got trapped. I really hope that's not the case, though.
Angel's gonna keep his mouth shut.
Yeah. So what do you all think?
I think.
Oh, God.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I think it's not a bad idea if we have a way to at least hide the wings. I have my hood that'll cover my horns, so I'll look normal if my wings aren't there. normal-ish, normal-ish if people get a closer look, not necessarily that normal.
And oh, son of a bitch! I've been looking at my spell list, but I never looked to the very bottom of it. I could have only had one spell slot left, and I could have cast Tongues on Angel. I completely forgot I took that as Harx. But I think I did it intentionally because of his disguises and stuff.
I personally can't help with your wings, but it doesn't last long, but for like a minute I can kind of listen to see what people are initially thinking.
Is it a bad idea?
See what, gauge what they're thinking the moment you guys walk in.
Not a bad idea.
And if
Unfortunately,
someone looks suspicious, and technically could try to dig a little deeper, but there's a chance they'll notice.
Let's keep that as a last resort type thing. If we think we're about to get into trouble.
Fair enough. Just let me know.
Possible last chance to plead our case to avoid trouble. If we know what they're thinking. But
Get behind that. And again, last resort, I have something up my sleeve. Hopefully
Fair.
it'll work.
as for disguising your wings and stuff, I cannot help. I can disguise myself. Hell, maybe I give myself wings.
I think that'll just make matters worse.
Let's all walk in with some sort of wings. Let's go find a small town and buy you some fake wings, Angel.
Would fit my name, wouldn't it?
It would. Then again, cats are more known for falling, not flying. No offense.
Well, I always land on my feet.
That's the one perk.
but this is going to be fine.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will just kind of put in a nice little city photo for you guys.
City, yay!
You're welcome.
Oh, look at this
The
beautiful
finest bubble
home.
here.
Visual.
Look at this beautiful. Look at this beautiful city, guys.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Very, very homey.
I'm not
I
gonna
did,
put
I
a
did
bunch
the
of
earthly
tokens.
tones.
Oh god, no.
Yeah, but there are people walking around. So do you want him to cast that spell when you first walk in?
Yeah,
Okay.
but like he said, just the surface level part of it. I know what spell it is, so it's like one of those. Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be
Yes.
that might be a good idea.
He happens to have detect thoughts prepared.
Yeah, it's a very good spell because if you don't push and you just do surface level, nobody notices and it just happens, which is great.
Yeah, it lasts a minute, so he's kind of just
Mhm.
subtly glancing around, essentially, kind of listening to people.
Yeah. But yeah, look, I would imagine they probably just walk in and kind of take interest in the buildings, that sort of thing. Like, seemingly looking for a place to stay, close, is what Harx is trying to give off.
That is not hard for Reyan to help with.
There.
You'll initially notice this. You'll notice that there are people who take notice of you, but not prolonged, like they look over at you, kind of watch it for a second, then go back to whatever they're doing when you pass by type of thing.
People they don't recognize take
Yeah.
notice, look back to what they're doing, kind of thing. Yeah.
There's no like prolonged stare or anything like that. But the other thing you would notice is that nobody comes near you. In fact, some of them almost seem to take routes to avoid you when they are walking down the same street.
Gotcha. They'll kind of like drop back into the group. I mean, they're all pretty close together, but he'll just like kind of drop back so everybody can hear him, where he's not yelling or being loud for everybody else around him. No. In my opinion, they probably don't trust strangers.
No,
Maybe that's
nicer dressed than a lot of these people. Either, well, do they think we work for somebody? Or
Very possible.
we might get robbed later. Who knows?
Also very possible. So keep hands on coin purses. Even better, shove them in your boots later.
Reyan's not so much worried about his coin purse as he is some of his sentimental belongings.
I can tell you one thing though. They at least have seen someone else here. Few of them have made mental thoughts of more strangers.
Possibly
Okay.
referencing the others. He'll kind of stealthily like pull out the card and kind of glance at it and kind of send through it. So what was one of the last things they talked about?
Give me a second to think about that because I did not expect that to be asked.
Fair enough.
It'd probably be things like the supplies they managed to find and potentially might be able to bring back some people, but they weren't sure because that's probably one of their goals whenever they come here is trying to bring back people.
Yeah. Like people they see aren't doing very well, that kind of thing.
But it's kind of like a very simple, like, check-in message, essentially. Like,
Yeah.
we found this, might be able to convince people. Very simple, quick, no conversation to it. That's basically the kind of updates he's been getting.
Yeah. He'll keep an eye out for where those types of supplies might be. Like if he sees like an area that might have had those types like kinds of supplies, he'll keep an eye for
It would be things
that.
like food, medical, things like basic supplies you would need to sustain a city.
Yeah.
I mean, probably you would see stuff like that. They probably do more. I mean, you'd find like farms, you'd find taverns, you'd find, because some of this is still run by people. Obviously, there are still people here, so they have to be. What do you plan to do, noting these places? I guess.
Didn't think that far ahead on it. He'll make note of where they are and kind of make like a mental note of like retracing steps almost. Like, okay, maybe they passed through here. Consider, what they could have ran into or stuff like that.
If they ever actually found these supplies.
Yeah, that's another problem. What features and shit do you have again, Harx?
Do we see like a center of everything, like where like anybody?
This town doesn't have necessarily a town center per se. The way this place is set up is it had the walls, it had the city, and then it had a large set of stairs that led up to a mansion-like building where the leader used to stay. So it's kind of more of like an overlook upon the city, and like the other half is the people.
Well, I'm imagining that one city from Assassin's Creed 2.
I haven't played in so long, I would not know offhand. But I would, but yeah, think of it kind of like a half moon type of situation where half of it's a city, the other half is a large staircase, what used to be a lot of gardens. It's obviously not been tended to in a long time.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yeah. And the walls reached up past this house once upon a time. They kind of still do, just because they were so high up, but there are obviously holes and stuff in those parts now.
Right.
Well, he'll just kind of to the group. Why do I have a strange feeling that is a place we'll end up having to go?
I was actually considering it.
I don't want to make a beeline for it, however.
Roll me a perception check, everybody.
Oh, goody!
I love these! I love these kinds of checks with Harx because, he has such a wonderful... Oh, shit. Tabletop, where'd you go? There you are.
Oh my gosh.
I was very pessimistic. I thought I was going to roll like shit because I have a +1. When the dice at
no,
each
this is funny.
It was more to see which one of you would take notice of this detail. I'll say for Harx and Mihi's sake, you notice that there's some people with weapons walking around, but with this way everything is, that makes sense. You gotta defend yourselves, the walls are broken down.
Yeah.
People steal from each other, it's not a great place to live, you gotta defend yourself. And you don't really think much of it. Obviously, Mihi wouldn't think anything of it, other than she'd probably make maybe a note on shiny things. I don't know.
That's fair.
Reyan, what you notice, though, is these people. They kind of remind you of sellswords, but like more guard-like sellswords. And that's something that you don't often hear about with any of these cities that are still intact, that there's any sort of guard. They seem to be more checking in on people and almost looking down on the people in a way, like just the way they act and their mannerisms.
It's kind of like all these people kind of... Do they look like they could all belong to the same, group? Instead of just individual people doing all this?
They seem to know each other. You do notice that some of them do stop and say hello and things like that to each other and talk to each other in a much more friendly manner, make jokes, things like that. they don't necessarily wear like an armor brand or anything like that. They're wearing
Okay.
kind of different armors depending on the type of sellsword they were. But just something about it, like, you just see a difference in the way they're acting towards common people that seem to be working. It kind of reminds you of when you grew up. The difference between, like, how would a guard at your house act versus a guard in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much that they would necessarily look down on people, but sometimes they would have a pompous attitude or feel like they were in a better position, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And
I feel like Cam technically would notice this just because she also was a part of that
yeah,
and traveled a lot.
Yeah. It's just how they feel about their position. They see themselves as above the
Yeah.
rest of the...
And that just, it's just weird to you because you know that a lot of these cities, people just kind of abandoned them, or a lot of the guards were killed that did try to defend it. So it's a little strange to you that there seems to be like some type of guard force.
He's going to quietly, like practically under his breath, to the others. I think someone else might be in charge.
Hmm?
Oh, that's just great.
He kind of like head nods a little towards like some of the guards and everything. I've only seen that when I was very young. The way that they are acting. These are men and women with seemingly positions. They did not choose them, given.
I see.
So someone's running the show.
I can probably take a guess where they're living.
Mm-hmm. They just replaced what was gone. And by the looks of the people, not for the better.
Maybe your friends figured that out and tried to do something about it. Or looked into it where they weren't supposed to.
They got too close. Or someone spotted them while they were here. Which means, likely, they'll know we're here.
Maybe it depends on if we poke around too much. We haven't tried to talk to anyone yet. Doesn't seem to be like they're paying attention to us yet. But that's the problem, is we might need to start talking to people.
He just kind of nods.
Unfortunately.
I guess it depends on the kind of questions we ask, if they think we're being too nosy.
Maybe we can start with where's a good place to rest our heads and where they might need help. Kind of motions to his symbol around his neck.
Fair. Alright. So who wants to do it?
Do what exactly?
I guess go ask as far as a place to stay, if they need help. I can. I just wanted to see if anybody else wanted to do it instead.
Maybe I could?
You are the cleric. It might seem better coming from you.
Kind of also looks at Angel. And if they think I'm a dumb kid,
How many of us can heal? Out of curiosity.
just me.
Not true.
Has Harx healed in front of him? I don't remember Harx healing.
Technically, Harx has healed him.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Harx can cast Cure Wounds up to 2 times, and then his other ability.
Right. I forgot.
Yeah, Healing Light.
He has that ability.
Hmm?
He can't ask her, but he will look at me.
Yeah. Harx will look to Mihi. He's curious if you have the ability to heal people or not.
She'll shake her head.
I can to some extent, so if it looks like we're a bunch of people that came in and out, I could say that you're probably better to call her your sister, Reyan, just because of the age gap.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of angels might look less suspicious in a weird way.
That's kind of rubs the back of his head. Kind of where I was going.
Yes. Lead on.
Okay.
What kind?
Actually, that's not what he would say. He would actually say, well, find the best person.
So I will ask you this, Reyan.
Uh-huh.
What kind of person are you looking for? Are you going to ask an elderly person? Somebody who looks a little younger, but maybe working a job or something? Child?
I think Ryan's gonna use a combo of knowledge here. Just like this kid has like so many things in his background at this point. I can't. He's got so crazy.
Yeah, you know how I felt.
I don't think he's going to go for like an elderly person because he's not entirely sure. Like they might know like where to go, but even then, that's a big iffy.
Old people don't like kids.
The kids, maybe that's a middle like if no one else is talking to him, because if nothing else, a kid will know like, hey, I know somebody you can talk to kind of situation. Like they know the neighborhood guy that's like, hey, he's been helping us do everything around here kind of situation despite what's going on.
Are still kind of avoiding you, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But I just want to know generally what you're trying to find, so I can make you roll perception to see if you find them.
I want to look for... I definitely want to look for somebody who's working. I don't maybe like not necessarily like an adultier adult, but like somewhere like close enough in age range. Not necessarily a teenager, but like 20s, basically. Like that kind of area. I know that's very specific, but I think the older they are, the more jaded they could be.
Maybe?
He's not entirely sure, but also he is kind of banking on, if all else fails, he does have a trick up his sleeve. So, and he's hoping he's not going to have to do that. So.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
Whee! That's not as good as my earlier one. 9.
9.
Not great.
Then you probably won't notice what happens as you approach somebody who's like they're selling stuff, which is probably your best bet. Just a young woman. She looks pale. Now that you've gotten a closer look and actually walked up to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got her hood up. But she just kind of looks sickly. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what can I get for you?
Actually, I feel like I should be asking you that. I'm sorry, my name is Reyan. I'm a cleric. We were kind of traveling through to try and help, and also looking for a place to rest. I wasn't sure if you might know, and is there any way I can help you first?
Unfortunately, magic has been no help to us here.
What do you mean?
She kind of lift like her hand up, and you'll see it's weird. Her skin, like, she's not bleeding or anything like that, but there are like pieces of her skin missing, almost like it's fallen away to ash.
Oh, jeez. And there's nothing in my, like, memory banks or anything that I could...
And not that you know of.
Oh, God! That's concerning.
I guess your best bet would be the tavern.
Alright.
And she'll kind of point in the direction that you would go for that. Yeah.
Thank you. Give up hope on us just yet.
We have somebody already trying to help, but I appreciate the offer. As I said, magic doesn't work. We just know that he's able to mess with medical stuff. I'm not really sure what, but he has helped a few people.
Do you think you could tell me where I could get into contact with him? Maybe we can help. Magic isn't our only expertise.
She'll look off further into the city, and she will point up to the mansion.
Oh, shoot. Good. Good. Okay. Ah! He'll nod. All right. Thank you. I appreciate the help.
You're welcome. Try not to get sick while you're here.
Right. God dang it, Fox!
Yes. I did.
I
did ask you all
hate
questions.
you. I hate you so much. Oh my gosh. Oh no.
Is this where I say, as soon as she said, as far as the woman looked very sickly, I was like, son of a bitch.
I was worried about something else entirely. I wasn't worried about illness. Illness was not something that crossed my mind. This
she
is
said
A
bad.
disease that magic seems to not help.
Yeah, I had that feeling. As soon as she described the person, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, Reyan will give the woman a trying to hide his fangs because let's not scare people. One of those smiles. And then go back to the group and explain everything. How she looked, what's going on, and the tavern, and then there's somebody working in the main house.
Well, how will we get to the tavern before we update Ace?
All right. And maybe we can ask him if he knows anything about this. I've never seen anything like this before.
That's my hope. Hopefully he can shed some light or... Shit.
She said we need to be careful. 6.
Yeah, well, I'm more worried about the other group now, because they've been here for a bit. Let's get to the tavern.
Off to the tavern.
So it's this nice big building over here. But as you guys are walking, I'm gonna have you...
I was gonna say, I kind of want to just keep an eye as we're walking to see if anybody starts following us, or see if anybody is or staring at us since we stopped to talk to somebody.
Make another perception check.
I just have that weird feeling it's like people will pay more attention to us if we stop and talk to people. I don't know why I'm thinking that. 17?
17.
Yeah.
That's high enough because they're not necessarily hiding from you. Yes!
I was about to say kitty.
Oh my god, what did you bring into this house?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Got something in the hallway he's playing with that's running around. Oh, it's a
Uh-oh.
tiny, tiny mouse. Kill it!
Oh no.
Don't get so play with your food, man.
Kill it! It's so tiny. You could swallow it whole. Please don't release it in my room. Eat it! Go! No, no, I see it! Do not bring it under my chair! Eat it! Oh my god. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back.
Go for it.
I have the same cat in here with me. Just thought I'd throw that out there. There you are.
Looks like I have the same cat with me.
This is going fine.
Yeah, I blame you.
I didn't do this.
I don't know why, but I still blame you.
I didn't
I understand that.
do this.
I understand that. I still blame
This
you
has
for some reason
nothing to do with me.
that you know of.
Listen, the only thing that I have to do with this particular thing is the fact that Fox double-checked to see if Reyan could still get sick. He can, by the way. The answer is yes. He is not immune. Which means if he gets sick, Dragon also gets sick. It's a bad time for everybody involved.
Well, you want good news or bad news?
Yes.
I was hoping you would say good news, but I'd be like, I don't have any.
Okay, he's finally eating it.
Oh God. God.
It took me a bit.
Well, like I kept telling them, Fox, I have the sane one in here with me.
Well, she's the one that doesn't kill him.
That's true.
She keeps playing with it.
Anyway.
Anyways, you
Mhm.
do see somebody, but not where you expected them to see, where you'd see him. Because you're kind of glancing around, and just something catches your eye up on one of the rooftops. And you see a small child kind of peeking over one of the rooftops as you're passing by. And when you notice him, all he does is kind of tugs at the scarf he has wrapped around his face and points to you guys before disappearing.
Harx will look to the group, cover your faces.
And he does not look very dressed like he belongs here either.
Cover your faces, nose to mouth.
Alright.
Okay.
Do our best.
I pull something out that he can kind of wrap around his face.
Yeah, Harx would do the same, like some kind of cloth or something he has.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think he does have.
What a way to use a magic item. I do have the cape of a mountebank.
Puck just kind of tucks its head down and covers its nose with his paws.
Unfortunately, Necklace of Adaptation does not let me breathe disease freely, so...
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
There we go. String is back. Did the quick little thingy.
How rude.
Reyan probably has some extra cloth and stuff like that he can give to Mihi and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was looking as far as see if I had anything else. But no, I just have like extra as far as in the adventuring gear stuff, like extra clothes.
Yeah.
Alright. So let's continue now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just fine. Perfectly freaking fine.
Tavern.
Heed the warning. That's all. The only advice I'll give on that. Heed the warning.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Reyan's just watching everybody, just probably picking up on, like, all the sick. Do the guards look sick, by the way?
No. They have their faces covered. Like they know it's a problem.
Now Reyan's just mad.
So now you can't tell if they're helping these people or not.
Yeah, he's he's assuming based on these guards' like behavior. The answer's no.
Mm-hmm.
Really, guys?
I don't know what gives you that hint.
Ugh.
But yeah.
What did you do? How'd you come in here?
Because you hung out with him in there earlier, so now he has to come in there and say hello. Despite the presence of the demon cat.
Yeah, who they were both just under my feet, as far as an obviously demon hissed it.
This is why I appreciate the fact that I can cross my legs.
I have my feet like kind of up on this tub.
Yeah, probably for the best.
But yeah, whenever they reached the... Well, actually, before they reached the tavern, instead of trying to get through to Ace through the card, he will just pretty much reach out in the sense of by just saying material plane group.
Does he know who specifically had the card?
No, that's why he was specifically saying material plane group.
Does require you to know.
He will ask Ace who had the card.
The one who had the card would be... probably... Silkus, I would say.
Okay. Then he would then try to reach out to Silkus and
yeah.
Are you all alright? Ace has us coming to check in on you all.
You don't get a response, and you're not sure if it's because they're not paying attention to it, that they don't have it, or that they can't.
Yeah, fuck. He was hoping to just try to reach one of them.
I have no idea.
Oh no. You're gonna cast sending, aren't you?
I do have sending.
Yeah, you do. You gonna use a spell slot?
Well, we can once we get to the room at the tavern, because he's not doing it out in the open.
That gives you time to think about who you're sending to. Because that will make a difference.
I'm sure it will!
Yeah, you get to the tavern, and it's not really run by anyone. It looks like it's just a place that people kind of come in and out of, type of place. Where maybe like people go to eat or surprisingly not drink. That is actually a very sparse thing here.
Yeah, you know,
it's probably more of like, this is where people are staying that don't have anywhere else to go, or the houses are too badly damaged. And there's still a pretty decent sized hole in this roof, but like the bedroom areas are fine.
Yeah.
It's one of the more stable looking buildings despite that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which actually I'd probably say it's this one then. So, as far as like stability looking. A lot of kids and maybe some like women kind of helping take care of them and things like that. More likely don't have families or maybe died to the disease. There are still quite a few sick people in here, but you could see that the people who aren't sick, obviously the ones still covering their faces. Everyone else looks like they kind of gave up on that, or maybe it's just something that they do to let people know if they're sick.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, a good chunk of, like, the people are not covered up.
Good. Good, 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 good.
Mm. Yeah. So you're able to find an empty room. They're not the best kept rooms, but they're manageable.
Mm.
Obviously, you're not going to find anything big enough for the group, so you're going to have to make do.
Mm-hmm.
But who do you send to, and what do you say when you get in there?
Okay.
There's no key
I'm
necessarily either.
I am
But yeah.
literally only remembering 3 of the group that went. Well, technically 4 because I know there was a guard for the Elysium leader.
Yes, so you get the Tiefling, Keldor, Rara, Sokas, and Lucian.
Yes. I think because the card didn't necessarily work. And because he knows him better, he's going to try and contact Keldor.
Okay.
I was trying to play around with, okay, how is he going to ask if they're okay secretly? Oh, 25 words. Maybe less. Are you and the others safe? Say... Maybe not say. No, it has to be words, though. Say K if yes. If no. Keeping it real simple. Something that can be said like under breath very easily. Like
It doesn't have to be said out loud with sending.
He's just making sure, just in case.
So is that what you say?
Yeah, he's gonna start there.
Okay. You want the bad news, the worst news?
Oh God. Bad news.
Bad news is he doesn't respond.
Worst
the
news.
Worst news is because it doesn't reach him, and you know there's a couple possibilities for that.
Oh no.
Either the small percentage chance he's on another plane and it just didn't go through, which is a very rare occurrence that it doesn't.
Uh-huh.
Anti-magic, or he's dead. There's really no in between.
Yeah. He's just gonna look up at everybody. So I'm going to hope that the only reason I couldn't get through is because he's in an anti-magic field.
Harx will immediately go to the card. Oh, does he just want to say they're dead?
Do not!
No, he's not. Yeah,
He's
he'll
been
just go
getting
over the
responses from Silkus. Or at least not responses, but updates. So you know that at the very least when he's giving those updates, he's not.
Mhm. He'll just throw the card to Ace.
Reyan was unable to make contact with Keldor.
Only furthering the suspicion.
Hoping for anti-magic or other plane, possibly.
Maybe. Let's confirm that, shall we?
And, another issue. There's an illness spreading around the city that cannot be cured by magic.
Okay. That's pretty rare disease then.
Would
he have seen, like, the woman's hand when she held it up to show
Reyan described it when he came back. He would have described it.
And he would describe it to Ace. Or as how Reyan described it to them.
Okay. That is not something I've personally heard of, unfortunately. I'm not exactly skilled in looking into diseases either, so it's not like I can get sick.
Did Reyan point out that the guards are all face masked up?
Yeah, once they were in the room, and he would have said it in a frustrated tone.
Yeah, then he would add, seems... By the way, there's, like, city guard. Apparently someone's working in the main house. And the guard apparently knows about the illnesses.
Guard. I don't remember there being a guard there before.
A bunch of them walking around armed. Whoever's in the main house, I'm assuming, probably employed them.
Like I said, that was not in the last report. So that's a recent occurrence.
We'll investigate more in the morning. We'll take watches.
Please do.
Yeah, and after that, he'll just tell the group the same thing. We'll look more into everything in the morning. But we are doing watches because of...
Your three angels don't... Well, 4 people don't sleep.
Fair. That's fair.
Reyan will also offer, like, a tiny hut within the room to add an extra layer of protection just in case.
That is very fair. Yeah.
Yeah, these guys could technically still sit on the outside of it.
Yeah, so it's a just in case purpose. That way, like, it's not necessarily for, like, the illness, because that can still get in. That's like, it is what it is. It's more along the lines of, if somebody does get in here, we have an extra